Welcome to MusicMoveIt.com. Today, I want to talk about the importance of having a well-mixed and mastered song. Now, having a good mix is extremely important because, obviously, if your vocals are too low or if the music's off somewhere, it's not going to sound good. And it's not going to be appealing to your fans. So basically, if you're mixing yourself and you know how to do it, that's great. If you're still new at mixing, there's a couple things you could do to help you to get a really solid mix. And when I was first starting out, I went to school for audio recording and stuff like that. And when I was first starting out, I remember trying to EQ things, and I was always worried. Like, I was always thinking like there's some kind of magic formula to EQ stuff. And yes, there are certain guidelines you can use to EQ certain instruments, but a good friend of mine who owned a studio, I would ask him, I'd be like, how do I know how to EQ a voice? I mean, what do I do? You know, I'm expecting some magic answer that's universal to everything. And he was like, listen, just use your ears. Do what sounds good to you. And he was absolutely right. And at first, it didn't seem right. I'm like, using my ears, like, I still don't know. But as time went on, you know what you like to hear. You know how you want a vocal to sound, and that's just what you do. You EQ it that way. Now, you can also listen to other songs that you like and mimic how it sounds. You know, do a mix, and then listen to a mix of one of a big name artists and compare them. You know, you could do that. Also, after you mix a song, I know a lot of you do this, it's important to burn a CD of it, or whatever, or bounce it to MP3, and listen to it on different speakers. Listen to it in headphones, burn it to an MP3, or bounce it to an MP3, put it in your iPod or whatever you have, listen to it there, and take notes each time you listen to it in different things. Like, burn a CD, take it to your car. Listen there. Play it on computer speakers. Put it in a stereo, you know, like a home stereo type thing. Try to listen to it in many different things that have different types of speakers, different size speakers. Take notes, and then, you know, go back to the drawing board and fix and change what you don't like. So you may notice that in cars it might be too bassy, or sometimes in like computer monitor speakers it might sound too tinny, or the vocals don't sound loud enough, or you know what I mean? So you can fix all that by listening on multiple speakers and systems. So it's very important to do. Now, mastering is another important thing. These days, when they master a song, they make it loud. They make it as loud as possible without distorting, basically. Because that's just how pop music and rock and hip-hop and all that is now. It's just loud. If you listen to stuff from the 70s, it wasn't as loud as it is today. They just want the songs boom, you know. But if you're mastering yourself, you really got to be careful. It's another thing where you need to listen to it on different systems after you master it. So it's important to study mastering and learn it. It's something that it's difficult to master. It takes time. You can't just master a song overnight and be considered the greatest album, you know, person who masters in the world. It's just not going to happen. There's guys who've been doing mastering for years that are really good at it. It's another thing where you got to use your ears. I know they have a lot of plugins to master now and stuff like that, but you really got to be careful. You know, EQ just right. Make it sound even. You know, there's a thing also when you're mastering a song compared to mastering an album. Like, if you're mastering a song, it's just one song. When you master a whole entire album, the goal is to make each song sound the same EQ-wise and level-wise. Like, you don't want track 2 being louder than track 4 because it's just odd. You want every song to be the same level so it plays the same through the whole album. And that's one of the goals for mastering a whole album. So, but it's important to have a good mix, because there's been times when I listen to local artists on like college radio and their mixes are horrible, and people would call in and be like, I couldn't even hear what he was saying because the music was too loud. You gotta have a solid, clean mix. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to use your treble, not just bass, But Treble will clean up a lot of stuff. But, you don't use too much. You got to really practice, use your ears, get a good mix for your songs. That's clear, clean. The drums are hitting just right. Don't be afraid to use your panning. Panning can do wonders in a mix, especially when you listen in headphones. Like, pan a hi-hat just a little bit to the right, or in vocals, do your main vocal dead center, and then do ad-lib vocals or dubs, whatever you want to call it, and pan them. Have one in one ear and the other. Experiment with that stuff, because it could really make a song pretty damn awesome in headphones. So, get your mixes right, get the mastering right. Don't cheap out on it, do it right. If you don't know how to master, if it's sounding bad, get someone to help you or pay someone to do it. So, if you want more advice on how to release an album, get our ebook at www.yourmusicrelease.com. It'll give you great promotional and marketing tips, and just tips in general from start to finish on releasing an album. There's basically a timeline on how to do it. So check that out and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you.